Hello friends, this is Miss Fowler again. Today we are going to recap on Caps for Sale. This is video 2. We're going to be covering some standards about asking and answering questions about key details in our text. We're going to retell some stories, include some details, demonstrate some understanding of our main central message, and we're going to describe some characters and settings and major events in our story using illustrations and possibly doing a little coloring today. Alright, our vocabulary recap from yesterday. Our question was, what clues from the pictures will help me determine the meaning? And we had 4 vocabulary words. We had peddler, which was someone who sells goods. Wares, which was the product that the peddler was selling. Ordinary is a person that is usual or normal. And country is where your setting is going to take place. Okay, so my question for the day today is going to be, what are the key parts of the story or text? What in the story is going to help you gather details, be able to retell the story, different things from the text? And how does describing the story elements help you to better understand what the story is about? I encourage you, if you can, to pause throughout the video with your child and help discuss some of the key parts that will help them better understand. If you will, you can click on the page to recap the video and watch it again and pause during that. And when you're through, then we'll move on to the next slide. Now, let's reflect on some of the characters, settings, and major events that were in the story. And these are some questions that your parents may ask you, or you can ask yourself. Who are the characters in that story? And why are characters important? Can you describe the main character in Caps for Sale? Where does the story take place? Think about our vocabulary words and what was one of the words where the story took place. Does the setting change? Does the main character go from one setting and then move to another? What is the problem of the story? Is there a problem of the story? What are major events? Think about what happened in the beginning of the story, what happened in the middle of the story, and then what happened in the end of the story. Next question is, how is the problem solved? Did the main character, was they able to solve the problem? And last question, what are the key details in the story? Alright, so Miss Cindy's challenge to you is for you to create your own story map. So, I'll give you a few seconds to gather some construction paper, blank paper if you have some laying around, pencils, pens, markers, or crayons, or you can either use some old magazines that your parents might have laying around the house. Take and look through those pictures and see if there's anything in those pictures that you can cut out that are familiar to you, that are from the book, and you may be able to use whenever you're creating your story map. And last but not least, your thinking caps. Alright, so before we end today's lesson, this is an example of a story map. This is not what your story map is going to look like. This is just an example for you to go by. So as you can see in the top left corner, it says character drawing and 3 describing words. So here is where you can draw the main character of the story and 3 words that describes your character. In the top right corner, you have setting, drawing, and description sentence. So you can either write a sentence of where your setting takes place, or you can actually draw the picture of where the story takes place. In the bottom corner, it says major events. So you have Like we said, what happened in the beginning of the story, what happened in the middle of the story, and what happened at the end of the story. It's easier if you will take the major events and then in the end of your story map, then you're able to put them all back together. And last but not least, 2 key details from the story. Anything you can remember about the story, use 2 complete sentences to write about 2 key details from the text. Again, stay tuned. We will have a different video tomorrow, which will be our video 3. Have a good day.